midnight ink of Nsukka. The shadows in the Faculty of Arts library did not just fall, they loomed. Efua sat at a mahogany desk scarred by decades of desperate carvings, her eyes tracing lines of constitutional law that seemed to dance in the flickering candlelight. Outside, the Nigerian night hummed with the sound of a distant generator and the rhythmic chirping of crickets, but inside, the air was thick with the scent of old paper and the crushing weight of final year. By 2 a.m., the coffee ghost arrived. It wasn't a spirit, but the jittery, translucent haze that settled over Efua's vision after her 5th cup of bitter instant brew. She watched as the steam from her mug curled into the shape of a spectral professor, wagging a vaporous finger at her incomplete thesis. The ink on her fingers felt like permanent stains of her own anxiety. A soft creak signaled a visitor. Olumide appeared from between the stacks, carrying a small paper bag that smelled heavenly of grease and spices. He didn't say a word, knowing that in the sanctuary of the library, silence was the only language left. He placed a warm meat pie on Efua's desk, a small, savory bribe for her sanity. "I can't find the 1963 archive," Efua whispered, her voice cracking. Together, they began a frantic hunt through the grave of knowledge, a corner of the library where textbooks went to be forgotten. They waded through mountains of loose-leaf papers and leather-bound volumes that had probably not been touched since the university was founded. Then, beneath a stack of crumbling journals, Efua's fingers brushed a spine of cracked blue cloth. She pulled it free, coughing as a cloud of history billowed into the air. It was the missing link, the one citation that could save her from academic ruin. For a moment, the dark academia grind felt less like a prison and more like a treasure hunt. They took a Milo break on the balcony, looking out over the sleeping campus. Olumide leaned against the stone railing, his silhouette sharp against the deep indigo sky. They shared the lukewarm chocolate drink from a thermos, the sugar hitting their bloodstreams like a quiet prayer. The dread of the coming exam hall felt, for a few minutes, miles away. Back inside, the ink-wash nightmare returned. Efua's notes began to blur, the handwriting of her past self looking like ancient, indecipherable runes. The fear that she had learned nothing, that the last 4 years were just ink on skin, threatened to drown her. She gripped her pen so hard the plastic groaned. Olumide pointed at a complex diagram she had drawn hours ago. "You solved this," he reminded her, his voice a steady anchor. "You did the work, Efua. The ink doesn't lie." He traced the lines of her logic with a steady finger, pulling her back from the edge of the midnight spiral. The first hint of dawn began to bleed through the high, arched windows, turning the ink-wash grays into bruised purples and golds. Olumide stood by the window, his eyes heavy but his spirit resolute. The coffee ghost had vanished, replaced by the cold, unforgiving reality of the morning. It was time. They walked out of the library together, 2 survivors of the grind. Efua's bag was heavy with books, but her stride was certain. They moved toward the Great Hall, joining a stream of other hollow-eyed students. The nightmare of finals week wasn't over, but as the Nigerian sun warmed their tired bones, they knew they would endure.